And welcome to a second take of Lakers presents Up at the Rafters. Inside joke. So needless to say, I just want to apologize up the top because this man has been waiting patiently.
Still patient.
Half the time out of the Zoom chat, the other half in the Zoom chat. And it's because this is our first episode back in our old studios. And it's not October yet, but it feels very haunted because we have that one creepy coworker who stays in the spot that we normally do the Zoom episode from. And then we had to go back to our old Facebook episode studio where we would shoot from together. And then we're trying to make that Zoom compatible, which it really wasn't, the webcam, which is why I'm holding the camera right now and not typically having a webcam with us.
It's like we're making an instruction video of how not to do podcasting. That's what we're doing, pretty much. This is what you don't want to do, kids.
This is the opposite, the complete opposite. We had mics and echoes in the background. But needless to say, we are so thankful that this man has been very patient with us. So Mark, who is our guest today?
He's one of my good friends straight from Lakers Nation, but I'm still going to give him the credit he deserves. The internet knows him. You all love him. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Peralta.
Woohoo! Take two. Yeah, I swear, I feel like Zach and Mark are just trying to get me out the show as soon as possible.
I hope this is all spliced together, by the way, Zach.
I'll try.
Just all these things. Yeah, no, but I'm happy to be here. This has been a while in the making, planning this out, and I'm just happy we're finally able to get on here and talk some things. So appreciate y'all for having me on.
First question. We just want to know, how big of a signing is it to know that the Lakers landed Pat Bev? I mean, is that not the blockbuster the Lakers were waiting for this offseason?
Yeah, I can probably tell you right now that a lot of Lakers fans aren't super happy that this is the marquee move of the offseason. I think everyone and their mom was thirsting over Kyrie Irving to Los Angeles. I certainly was one of those, constantly checking the old Twitter and Instagram feeds like an obsessed ex-girlfriend. But
I think I was checking yours too. Trust me, I was checking everybody. Else. Like, what do they know? What do they know?
Yeah, what do they know? What do all these moon emojis mean? Yeah, no, I mean, as far as Pat Bev goes, I thought the move, it makes sense for the Lakers if you're trying to go all in this season and actually win a title. As much as I love Taylor Horton-Tucker, I do wish him best in Salt Lake City, but I think the move made sense on paper. It's not the move everyone wanted, so I can understandably see why people would be upset.
Yeah, if anything, I just had instant fear, really, because it's just the history of Pat Bev between him and the Lakers. I mean, we all laughed at him and pointed at him, when it came to him jumping on a table and, throwing his jersey when they won in the playoffs. But I'm like, really? We're going to get this guy on our team?
Yeah.
So does it make you nervous? Because it makes me a little nervous.
I mean, I don't know if nervous is the right word. I mean, he's going to do Pat Bev things for the Lakers, right? He's very much a player you love to have on your team and hate when he's on other teams. And I think, there wasn't really a guy like that on the Lakers team last season. So I feel like having that kind of person's good. But my whole thing was like that just can't be the only move you make this offseason unless you're not serious about winning this year, So I don't think it necessarily him by himself doesn't necessarily make me nervous. I'm just nervous about the team in general because I'm gonna be honest, like I don't think they're gonna be like super great. Like I think they'll be better than last year, but the bar is so low that's not saying a lot.
Now, I just want to get your take on what he said after his press conference. There were people asking him questions about, like LeBron and AD, blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, but I did. He said something to the effect of that.
Yeah.
I mean, is it safe to say that this guy is just cocky or is he delusional?
I think, like with NBA players, it's a little bit of both, right? You don't get to that place in the league unless you are cocky or unless you are like super self-confident and even delusional to a certain extent. And you kind of say that in like the most endearing way as possible. I just kind of took it as him being Pat Bev. I think that's just his personality. And I think some things like that are going to make you raise your eyebrows a little bit. But I think ultimately you'd rather have a guy with that sort of mentality versus the guys that, are scared or don't want to play big minutes or be in big moments, So I mean, I'd rather have that than the alternative.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anything, it almost feels like he kind of gives, I mean, like you could go through my Twitter timeline and you could definitely find some trash talk, in regards
mine too.
Yeah, so I'm like, I gotta scrub mine real quick.
Same.
But like the one thing I feel like, if anything gives me some type of confidence, is that it brings this team like an edge finally. Because I feel like the last couple of seasons we didn't have that, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I just feel like, a lot of people you go through Twitter, right? It's the internet. Everything's been said. But you go through last season in particular, you see things like, oh, like Lakers, like, weak mentally, soft, et cetera, right? So you bring in a guy like Pat Bev, who's literally the opposite of those things. So you kind of address those kind of concerns a little bit. But yeah, I'm not like over the moon about it. I don't think it's like the end all be all kind of move, but I do think, it was a step in the right direction to trying to fix what went wrong last season.
I get the feeling that, okay, as lackluster as what this offseason turned out to be, I think this is actually setting up to be the greatest trade deadline moves that we've ever seen. Like, I think February is going to be explosive. Like, Kyrie might be moved. There might be a Russell Westbrook trade, but like, there's also that sinking feeling that it's just like, wait, are the Lakers really going to have to start the season with Russell Westbrook? It's just like,
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're asking me, I think right now the Vegas odds would probably say yeah. We've heard like so many deals, and that's what kept us afloat for like 2 months. Is like, is Russ gonna get traded? Yes, no, which team, and for what pieces, right? I just kind of feel like because training camp's so close, I think it just makes more sense to start the season with him, see what you got, and then try to flip him at the deadline, like you mentioned, which could be pretty crazy. If like, I mean, like, look, like Brooklyn could implode. Things changed so quickly in the NBA. Like July, whatever it was, we all thought Kevin Durant was getting traded. Now he's somehow staying on the team, but that team goes through a rough patch. They could be looking to move pieces. Same thing for the Lakers, right? What happens if like Russell Westbrook ends up being a god and the Lakers are good?
Well, I'm not gonna let like that kind of cross my mind. I'm like, okay, what if this actually does bring the best out of Westbrook? Like, do you think this is gonna be more beneficial? Like, it can't be any worse than last year, right?
No, I don't think so. Like, the bar is so low. Like, it would have to be catastrophically bad for it to somehow be worse. And I don't know if you guys have actually looked at the schedule, but that first month for the Lakers is kind of rough. So I can already imagine people by like game 4 like rioting outside. To be honest, like some people might be rioting after game 1 if they lose, because starting off with the Warriors and the Clippers to start your season is a little terrifying. Just to be honest with you guys. So I hope it's the best for us. I have not been a big fan of him, obviously, like a lot of people haven't. But at the same time, like the only thing I ever care about is the Lakers winning, right? So if the Lakers are winning because he's playing well, by all means, But if they're bad and he's a large part of the losing, then yeah, I think you got to move him as soon as possible.
So okay, like we were referring to earlier, the Lakers obviously missed the playoffs. They're starting at the bottom. Expectations wise, what are you going to say for the Lakers now? Because even though Russ was on the team last year, Mark and I were kind of like, let's see if this works out. We didn't think it was going to be a sinking ship like it was, but like we still were trying to be optimistic. We are like, maybe they could slip in the play-in tournament. Maybe they could be a dark horse, whatever. What are your expectations starting this season?
Yeah, the optimism thing is kind of my gig. That's my spiel now. And it's funny, like, even though I'm lower on the Lakers than a lot of people are, I'm still somehow the most optimistic one. Like, we've got our Lakers Nation group chat going, and a lot of the folks in there are like, yeah, I don't know, man, like borderline play-in team. Like, I could see them missing the playoffs again. And I'm like, damn, really? Like, I think, best case scenario, they're like a 6 seed. Or they're like in the play-in tournament, but they actually get out of it and they make a postseason. So I think that's kind of a reasonable expectation. I know the West is a lot deeper this year because guys are healthy, like the Nuggets, the Clippers, and stuff. But you still have Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I know a lot of people are probably tired of hearing Lakers fans say that. It's like, oh well, we have AD and LeBron, will be fine. But there's a reason people keep saying that, because those two dudes are really good. It's just they're not available and the team around them sucks. But I think things will be better this season. If I get like 60, 65 games out of both of those dudes, I feel pretty confident that we make the playoffs at the very minimum.
So do you think Patrick Bev will actually be holding a trophy in over his head? Or is it's pretty low, right? As far as those odds.
I think it's pretty low. I mean, do they what are I'm trying to think of like what are some realistic Patrick Beverley awards he could win, and I feel like none of them are like basketball related. I mean, if there's an award for like best shit talker or whatever, he's definitely getting that, or just dude that like I hate playing against, like those kinds of things. But yeah,
Mellius teammate.
Mellius teammate. There's just something about that dude that just I swear to God, he's on our team. I don't even want to crack jokes anymore, but there's just something about him that makes me like, yeah, he hasn't showered in a few days for sure. But I
It
that's
smells
how
like corn nuts. That's what I feel like. It smells like corn nuts. It's like, hey, can you at least give me some? Like, if you're gonna smell like it.
Oh man, no, this is the type of hard hitting analysis I miss.
I'll tell you, this is the fun show.
This is the fun show, yeah. But I championship, I'm not too sure, man. Like I think even the most optimistic person in the world is would put money against that.
It's so funny because I consider myself very optimistic in life, and of course with the Lakers. And every year I'm like, nope, of course it's championship or bust. But this year it's like, I feel like, man, is Robert Sacre back on our team? Because that's what it feels like again. Like I'm just kind of like, just down a little bit. But I don't know. I feel like if anything, watching. Have you been watching the Hulu documentary?
Yeah, yep. Episode 5 just aired, right? We're talking about the dynasty startup.
Yeah,
the 2000s. Yep.
Yeah, and watching that kind of inspired me, or it gave me some type of confidence with them as far as like trusting them, as far as their process and the history of everything. And let me fix my camera real quick.
There we go.
There you go. I'll try not to mess with the table either. But yeah, watch that Hulu documentary. It really kind of gave me some type of confidence with even like the front office. Like, do you feel like, although obviously offseason one is as explosive as far as trade deadlines and such as before, but does the Hulu doc give you any type of confidence and trust within the Lakers, especially like with Jeannie, like as far as making moves and at least trying to keep that tradition alive of being a winning team?
Yeah, I don't know if it's confidence. It's kind of just like a reminder that the Lakers can do so poorly and then walk ass backwards into solutions and championships. Like it really does, like, put into perspective like how fortunate the Lakers have been throughout the years of just being able to win consistently at like a high level, and yes, they have down years like every other franchise, but there's just something about the Lakers franchise in general that like you're not down for super long. So, from that perspective, it does give me a little bit of hope that, whatever rough patch we're going through either now or into next season or beyond that, like it's not going to last forever. So, I think that's a good way to look at it. And two, like the other thing that I think about is like how many other teams or franchises in the NBA can have a legacy kind of documentary made about them. You know what I mean? Like there aren't many. Like there's like maybe like, I mean, you could argue it's probably the Celtics and no one else. So for me, when I put it in that perspective, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm super spoiled. Like I'm only 28, but I've been alive for 6 championships. You know what I mean? Like
that's crazy. I just realized how young you were. I feel
sorry, I didn't mean to throw that in there as a jab.
Hey, we're coming on the 30-year-old show. I might as well bring up my age.
Dude, I'm turning 39 next month. I feel so old as shit now.
No, you're not.
That's what I got. Yeah, I've been around. We went to Vegas. Wait, were you even 21 when we were at Vegas?
Oh my God, Mark. Yes, I was 21. No, oh my God, that was what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
6 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that means me and Mark must have met. Oh, you were a young 30 when I met you.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Wait, are you going to Vegas for the preseason games or no?
Oh, you know what? That's in discussion. I'm thinking about it. We were there for Summer League, which was fun. And then we got to do some other recording stuff for Lakers Nation out there in March. So, I mean, it doesn't take a lot to get me to go to Vegas. You know what I mean? So just say, Matt, we need you in Vegas. I'm like, okay, I'm there. So, it'd be cool. I mean, are you guys going?
I'm trying to, because it's funny you say that. Like I've gone to Vegas 3 times this year, and it's been the minimal thing. Like my dad's been like, I'm playing the World Series of Poker. I'm like, damn it, I'm going with you.
Okay, nice. Say less.
Yeah.
Zach pointed out one of the games they're going to be in Vegas, right? Was it the Friday night one or something like that? Zach?
Timberwolves. We're trying to go October 6th.
Yeah, we're
nice.
going to try to go, because I mean, nothing's better than basketball and Vegas. I've been to a preseason game with the Lakers playing at the T-Mobile Arena one year, and I had a blast. And it's a huge Lakers town still. I mean, that's one thing. Like I'll give Vegas credit. It's almost like LA's cousin when it comes to sports teams and such. But Zach, what were we gonna ask husband? Were you gonna ask something?
No, I just asked him about if he was going to the preseason game. But let me ask you this,
because
something I'm very excited about, and it's kind of like I'm getting mixed reports about it because I'm reading like, oh, it's just a rumor. They're not going to announce it, or like it will be announced soon, especially when the games happen in Vegas. But apparently the NBA is supposed to announce that it will be Seattle and Vegas as the next expansion teams to get a city, or excuse me, the next cities to get an expansion team.
Right.
Are you going to be like going to Vegas regularly if they get a team?
Oh man, I feel like yeah, I feel like it'd be cool. One, I mean, like I think Vegas and Seattle are the obvious cities for NBA teams. Like there's already fan bases there for those two. I mean, yeah, I think it'd be cool just to be part of a new team, like an expansion team starting out in Vegas. Like I think that'd be cool. I still got to make my way out. I'm a Rams fan, but admittedly, I still want to go catch a Raiders game in Vegas. I think that'd be cool. Go Raiders, right, Mark?
Don't get stabbed. Don't get stabbed.
I gotta say that for the Rams and 49ers games too. Sorry.
Go Raiders.
Yeah, go Raiders. But anyway, yeah, I feel like I'd be out there. I'd probably be catching the team in Seattle too. That team was robbed of a franchise, and so it'd be cool to go back out there and see basketball there for sure.
Yeah. No, I like, as you probably know, I'm like just an NBA free agent when it comes to serving teams. I was even talking to Dan Duong Dao about this, and I was like, yo, if they get a team in Vegas, I'm moving. He goes, me too.
Why not, man? You're almost there. Yeah.
Mark, you might have to join Dan and I out there. We could start Veer Vegas or something like that. We'll like make this happen.
Oh, no,
Veer Vegas.
Well, I remember the last time then when me and Matt were in Vegas. I mean, we partied pretty hard. I remember us like, yeah, partying, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure we did. I think you guys came to my comedy show down there, right?
We did, and I was gonna say I'm never playing Rage Cage with just shots and liquor ever again. That was probably the dumbest idea. I'm not. I think I was fresh out of college, so it wasn't bad. But if we tried to do that again, I can already feel my liver exploding. So probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, they're seasoned now. That's what we old people call them now. We call our livers seasoned now. But,
yeah, I mean, I've every time I go out and play sports or do whatever, like run, I have to stretch beforehand. That's how I know I'm washed. So
and as soon as I turned 35, I remember I wrote a joke. I was like, "Oh, in NBA years, I'm considered trash now." That's what it is.
That's so true, though. It's so weird to me when we call athletes old when they're like 34.
But like, it's funny because I remember like Nash when he turned 40 and he was like, he's still playing. Like that dude's old as hell. I was like, wait, I'm 39. Like I'm right there. I'm old as hell too. But I don't know. I get it though. My back hurts a lot now, which never happened before. But all of a sudden, so yeah, there's things you have to watch out for when it comes to aging. But when it comes to like, I gotta say this. Like I know, like we're talking off the air about it because I admire you guys, especially you, for keeping busy, making sure that, especially with, your work on Lakers Nation, just the topic of discussion is always Lakers. Like, was there any other things that kept you busy during the off season on top of like, trying to, bring us Laker news and such?
Yeah, admittedly it's a challenge, right? Because the off season has a dead period in it, but I think this season was a little bit different because we had that Kevin Durant trade rumor hanging over everyone's head for like that month and a half. Yeah. So, the challenge was trying to figure out how to say the same thing 9 or 10 different times. So I got really good about doing that. But yeah, it just turned into a lot of hypotheticals. And, with Lakers Nation, a lot of the content comes from our fans because they're so curious about like, what does this move mean for the Lakers, or, what can happen here? Is this possible? And so I think a lot of that kept us busy. It was just, answering fan questions or, addressing fan concerns or projecting out or what we think. So we were able to do that for a while, but I think now there's kind of a little bit of a lull because there's not a lot of news coming out. So for me, I'm just, looking forward to watching the Lakers play basketball again. I feel like the discussion has kind of shifted toward that now. It's like, okay, like let's talk about the actual team now, because I think everyone has accepted, like we've gone through the 5 stages of grief for the Russell Westbrook, right? I'm dead serious, right? Like we've bargained for it. We were sad over it. And now I think people are starting to accept it. It's like, okay, he's going to be on the team. I've put myself in that mindset. So let's talk about basketball. Like what can the Lakers actually do? That part that discussion has shifted. So that's been good for us. So that's kind of where we're at now.
Who is your least favorite sports broadcaster? Like, or opinion person?
Let's just get out of the way.
I'm just going to start. Colin Coward.
That's a good one. That's a great one. There's not a lot of times where I catch myself watching Colin and I'm like, I agree. That's a great point, Colin. I don't see myself saying that too often. I don't know. I got to be careful on this podcast since you guys are so big, because one of these guys could be offering me a job at some point.
Yeah. All 5 listeners. Yeah.
Hey man, you never know. Those 5 listeners could all be producers for their shows. So
thanks, Mom. Thanks for listening to my show.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think my siblings even watch the show, so or be on any show. So you're doing a lot better than I am. As far as Lee's favorite broadcasters or talking heads on NBA or anything in general, I was gonna say I mean Skip Bayless is a really easy one. I have that dude
Skip.
muted. I'm trying to think. Like Max Kellerman for a while, I didn't like.
Understandable.
Yeah,
his hot takes on basketball. I'm just like, dude, just stick to boxing, please.
You know which sports guys should be talking about exclusively, right? Like Max is fine when it comes to anything boxing or fighting related. Like that's totally cool. I'd even argue football is all right. Stephen A. Smith should just be talking about basketball. Like I disagree with him on everything baseball and football related, basically. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, like I get it. Like this is your job and you need to be well versed or at least know a little bit about every sport, but you can tell. And Bill Simmons just for the whole Celtics thing. I respect what he's done a lot for his for podcasting and digital media in general. Like The Ringer's one of my favorite sites, but like the Boston bias is insane to me, so I can't stand that guy sometimes. So I think that's kind of my running list of guys. Like if I'm Arya from Game of Thrones and I'm just like writing people off my list, that would probably be where I'd start.
I would probably have to like double that and say absolutely. but I think I don't know what's his name, Bill Asshat. What's his name? Well, Plashke too, but he's called
Los Angeles Times legend Bill Plashke.
Yeah, I'll go Tupac, F you too, and all this kind of stuff. Whoa,
right.
Smoke.
No, but yeah, I mean, I met Bill, so I have a little bit of a story at Summer League where it was him and Joe House at like the Ringer booth. I think they had just launched their site, so they're still like not quite as big, but everyone knew who they were.
Yeah.
Me and a buddy of mine were in the Lakers and Kings jersey, which was even funnier at the time. Now that I think about it, and we were there and we're like, hey, let's take a picture. Like Joe House was like, yeah, let's take a picture, and then I was like, oh, can Bill Simmons get in? And Joe's like, yeah, like, hey, Bill, do you want to? He's like, what? and then Joe's like, hey, these guys want to take a picture, and then Bill's like, okay, fine. And then like I have the picture on my phone, maybe I'll send it to you guys after, but he looks like he's disgusted and doesn't want to be there, and I'm like, all right.
Oh, so true Bill fashion.
Yeah, true Bill fashion. I'm sure he's a great guy, just maybe I caught him at a bad time. It's Summer League, it's hot, people are drunk, like it's
he's a Celtics fan. No, there's no such thing as a good person.
Well, I'd like to say that Boston fans are the classiest ones and definitely not racist. So
not at all.
Definitely not.
No, absolutely not.
Not poop in Bill Russell's bed. No.
Nope, not at all. No racial slurs or anything, which is also topical with the Suns, but that's another discussion.
That's for the second part of the podcast.
Well, maybe when we get our technical difficulties all figured out next time and we have you on for much longer, then we could talk about the Suns.
You can book me however you want. I'm sure. I don't know, man. You might have Trevor on by then, so you might not need me.
Then I'm gonna be like, okay, enough. We want Matt back. That's what
we want the guy that's with Alan Slewa on ESPN 710 and the other radio hits. Not this dude. I know my place. Don't worry.
Oh, no way, man. We love you. We wanted you on this show for a long time, and yeah, I'm sure when we have a longer time frame to record, we'll get you back, right, Zach?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I'm open whenever you guys are, so you just let me know and I make time. Don't worry about it. It's fun, like you talk Lakers basketball like so like analytically and like from a professional perspective all the time, but like you don't really get a chance to just like shoot the shit and talk. Like,
yeah, man, get loose.
Yeah, so this is awesome. Like I hope is time running out now. Do you guys have to go? Am I getting booted off?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Yeah,
I knew
it. You guys couldn't afford the membership or whatever. We have
the lights are about to go out.
That was another thing that's haunting us. Is apparently the Zoom account. This one's timed.
We're actually playing out game one of the season of the Lakers right now. I hope this is exactly like game one is. It's like Russ just like starts fighting everybody. It's like, no, what's that? And then everyone forgets who they are.
We gotta say bye.
Okay.
No
Thank you, Matt, so much for joining us tonight.
Bye,
seriously.
No worries, guys. Have a good one.